Picture this. You wake up on Christmas morning, but it's not today. It's sometime in the 1970s. There's no gentle hum of central heating, no ping from a smartphone. Instead, the first thing you see is a gallery of icy crystal patterns, like miniature, fantastical forests etched on the inside of your bedroom window. Each breath you take hangs in the still, cold air. The chill isn't just a feeling. It's a living presence, seeping through every crack, nipping at your nose as you burrow deeper under the blankets. Yet this isn't a memory of hardship, because behind that frost lies a warmer truth. This was Christmas in 1970s Britain, where houses could be freezing, but hearts, somehow, always held a glowing ember of kinship. For the generation that lived it, Christmas was never defined by material abundance. Its spirit was captured in the art of making do, creating magic from what little you had. It was found in the moment the whole family huddled close together in the one warm room of the house. The real enchantment was discovered in the simplest things, that one big present you'd yearned for all year, and the moment an entire nation paused to watch the same thing on the same 3 channels. If you experienced a 70s Christmas, get ready. This journey back will touch you right in your core. Your bedroom in winter was essentially an icebox. Waking on Christmas morning required a small act of courage. Those single-glazed windows became a canvas for the frost, which painted intricate designs on the inside of the glass. You'd scrape at them with a fingernail, just to peek through and hope for a world blanketed in snow. Central heating was a luxury most families couldn't even imagine. Sleep came under layers of heavy blankets, sometimes with a coat laid on top. Your clothes for the next day were already at the foot of the bed. Because getting dressed in the morning chill was a military operation, the entire house relied on one source of heat, the fireplace in the living room. So, Christmas morning meant leaping from bed, grabbing your presents, and making a sprint downstairs. Your dad would have been up since dawn, wrestling with newspaper and kindling, trying to coax flames from damp coal. And that distinctive smell of a coal fire, that thick, warm, solid scent, was the true signal that Christmas had officially begun. Nobody complained about the cold. It was simply a fact of life. Icy bedrooms, freezing bathrooms, and that one precious warm room where everyone gathered. In a magical way, that stark contrast made the morning even more special. The dash downstairs, the shock of cold floorboards on bare feet, the sheer joy of reaching the hearth's radiating warmth, it all built a palpable sense of anticipation. The Christmas tree went up precisely a week before the day, never earlier. The decorations were a beautiful, chaotic mismatch with no color coordination. Tangled strings of multicolored fairy lights that took an hour to unravel, usually with half the bulbs dead. Your dad would spend Christmas Eve testing each one, muttering under his breath until finally the whole string flickered to life. The baubles were ancient, delicate glass heirlooms. Some were your Nan's from the 50s. Others were newer, but nothing matched. The tree itself was likely an artificial one from Woolworth's, slightly lopsided. Tinsel was flung everywhere, on the tree, around the banister, along the mantelpiece. And then the ceiling decorations, those concertina-style paper garlands, pinned up with drawing pins. By Boxing Day, half would be sagging. But it looked festive. When you plugged in those fairy lights for the first time, the room was transformed. There was a smell, too, the scent of dust burning off the old bulb filaments, mingling with coal smoke. That was the smell of Christmas. The double issue of the Radio Times and TV Times arrived like treasured scripture. Christmas television was serious business. There was no recording, no pause, no catch-up. If you missed it, it was gone forever. Families sat together with a pencil, circling desired programs. Arguments would break out over what to watch. Everyone watched the same 3 channels, BBC One, BBC Two, and ITV. Christmas morning started with cartoons. You'd be up at 6 a.m., shivering in your pajamas, huddled before the TV clutching your selection box. Even the television didn't warm up instantly. You'd switch it on and wait as the picture slowly faded in. Later, at 3 p.m. sharp, came the Queen's speech. The whole country stopped. Dinner was timed around it. Your mum would be in a controlled panic in the kitchen, ensuring the turkey was perfect. Meanwhile, the rest of the family sat waiting. And then the main event, the Morecambe Wise Christmas Special. Their 1977 show attracted 28 million viewers, half of Britain's population. Everyone you knew watched it. Elton John wandering through Television Centre, the dance number with all the BBC presenters. It was a shared national experience that simply doesn't exist anymore. The food had its own unique character. The starter was where you gave sophistication, prawn cocktail. If your family served it, you had arrived. Iceberg lettuce, tinned prawns, Marie Rose sauce, presented in a fancy glass dish. The turkey was enormous, a source of maternal anxiety since dawn. Roast potatoes, Brussels sprouts boiled into submission, carrots, and gravy made from Bisto granules. Pudding was the dark, dense, brandy-soaked Christmas pudding set alight to blue flames. Hidden inside was a sixpence for luck. After dinner, a mountain of torn wrapping paper. Then, bloated and tired, the family collapsed before the TV, passing around the tin of Quality Street or Roses until only the hard toffees remained. Presents in the 70s were different. You didn't get piles of them. You got one big present, the thing you'd begged for all year, and a few small bits, a selection box, an annual, socks from your non. But that one big present was everything. A bright orange chopper bike with high handlebars, a tiny Tears doll, an Etch-a-Sketch, a space hopper, or a Scalextric set. These weren't throwaway toys. They were treasures, cared for because you knew there wouldn't be another for a year. Unwrapping that one dreamed-of item was pure magic. Today, kids might get rooms full of gifts and forget half by New Year. Back then, you got one thing, and you remembered it forever. There was a real sense of community. The corner shop stayed open on Christmas morning for an hour. The milkman delivered at dawn. Streets were quieter as families stayed home. You'd see neighbors briefly, waving from doorsteps. If an elderly neighbor lived alone, someone checked on them, took over a plate of dinner. It was just what you did. As evening fell, the house cooled again. The fire's warmth reached only about 6 feet. Families squeezed onto the sofa, vying for the prime spot. Bedtime meant retreating to the icebox bedroom again, diving under the covers and shivering until your body heat warmed the bed. Tomorrow would bring leftovers and more chocolates. But Christmas Day was over, and it had been perfect. Ask anyone who lived through a 1970s British Christmas, and they'll tell you the same. We had less materially. Fewer presents, fewer channels, colder houses, but somehow it felt like more. There was a profound togetherness. The whole family crammed into that one warm room, the whole nation watching the same program. We shared universal traditions, the radio times, the prawn cocktail. Morecambe and Wise, we didn't have central heating, but we had each other. And perhaps that's why these memories resonate so deeply. Not because the 70s were better. They were colder and harder in many ways. But because Christmas then felt earned and special. It was the one day everything stopped, when the cold outside made the warmth within precious. Christmas today is easier and more comfortable. But something was lost along the way. The aching anticipation, the cherished simplicity, the collective joy. If you were there, you know exactly what I mean. The ice on the windows, the smell of the coal fire, the whole family on the sofa. It wasn't perfect, but it was ours, and we'll never forget it. Thanks for watching, and if this brought back some memories for you, please like and subscribe for more journeys into the past.